Lesson 3.5 has students perform a hands-on investigation to test the rates at which a tennis ball and a plastic ball fall to Earth. Students reflect on their collected data and apply their understanding of gravity by making a claim based on their data. The teacher in this lesson plan leans heavily on using the scientific method, which I would not worry about doing. Instead, I would start the lesson plan right after the section on the scientific method, which begins by asking the question, what would happen if we dropped a tennis ball and a styrofoam ball from 1 meter at the same time? Which ball would hit the floor first? With that question in mind, students could either watch the embedded video that's in this lesson, or they could move straight to conducting their own trials to see what they discover. Regardless of which option you choose to do first, there are two important things to keep in mind during this lesson. Number one, if watching the embedded video, just be aware that the video oversimplifies the experiment's conclusion by saying the pull on the objects is the same.
Galileo showed that the pull on the objects was the same. This pull we call gravity.
A more accurate way to state this concept is to say the pull on the objects results in them falling at the same speed or the same rate. This may be a difficult distinction for students to grasp, and it is okay if students don't have a firm understanding of this concept by the end of Lesson 3.5. The following lesson, Lesson 3.6, is designed in part to address the misconception that gravity must be pulling on all objects with the same force. The second important thing to keep in mind during Lesson 3.5 is that students may have difficulty conducting fair tests when dropping the balls. It is very easy to accidentally release the balls in such a way that one inadvertently falls a little early or a little late, or that one ball is dropped with a slight push force while the other maybe is held on a fraction of a second longer, or that the two balls are actually dropped from maybe slightly different heights. Any of these factors can skew the results of a trial. Also, the tennis ball will typically bounce higher than the foam ball, and this higher bounce can sometimes cause students to feel that the tennis ball must be hitting the ground first. Recording student trials with a smartphone or an iPad camera can be a great way to gather video evidence, which can be used later during these class discussions. After students conduct these trials, they'll share their group's findings with other students in the class. Students should write down their findings in their science journals, because the next lesson, Lesson 3.6, will give them an opportunity to go back and revise their findings. The materials needed for Lesson 3.5 are provided in the kit. The only material not provided is a meter stick for measuring 1 meter ball drops, but this can be bypassed by using a fixed reference point such as a desk or a countertop, and we can add a ruler to the top of it, and we can set this point as our kind of baseline drop point for conducting drop tests.